All right, so tell me what you guys want to go over with your debt now.
Yeah, I just want to see if there's anything that maybe I can do better to make this work faster as well, or we're putting the deposits in and then transferring them over into the line of credit.
Right.
Using the line of credit to pay for everything that we can pay for, including the mortgage.
Our line of credit is $20,000.
Right.
And I think the balance on it is at 15 right now, but we both just got paid today, so that'll go down. And then I also have 4,500 that'll be applied to it as soon as it hits the bank.
So these are the 3 credit cards that have the small balances. I would pay these off into the line, gaining you some more cash flow. So now you would be up to about 1,505 in cash flow. That way, when your income goes into the line, which if you're doing the whole 12,000.
So that 15,634 is actually the line of credit balance.
Yeah, I know. That's why I added it. So now it would be.
Oh, so the 2139. Okay.
That's the 3 credit cards.
The small ones, yeah,
the small ones, just to gain the cash flow on those. And you're paying interest for nothing, that high interest anyway. That being said, so you'd have 6152 in debt payments still, and then your expenses are at 4,500, let's say. So 16,425, and then your interest on that. Wow, that's high interest, but okay, 17. So 201. So 16, so you're coming down about $1,100 a month. In your first month, you would. $1,100, so that takes you over $12,000 a year that you're paying off. That's really the best that you're going to do with that small line. If you had a larger line, of course you could move faster. What did we talk about with you getting a larger HELOC? Do you have the value in your home?
No.
Okay.
But Northrop Grumman Federal Credit Union does. It's just a line of credit like the other one, just a regular personal line of credit.
Well, I mean, you're not like running through the debt because you do have a lot of debt. I mean, you've got a home that's $560,000 nearly. So, the point that I would really like to see, well, like I said, if you're using the software, that's going to knock your interest back. If you're using the line of credit correctly with the software, you're going to kill a lot of interest and debt. The credit union's line of credit there, it should really be worked down. If I were going to do anything in your situation, literally anything in your situation, I would use the credit card, NFCU credit card, as an expense card where all of the chargeables are going on there and you're putting the income back into that, which would satisfy that $588 payment. I would do that. I would use the line of credit for all expenses, even to pay the monthly amount on the NFCU credit card. Then I would get that line of credit worked down to about a $5,000 balance, and then I would chunk $10,000 onto that mortgage. Why would I do that right up front? Because you are getting destroyed with that interest right now. And the $10,000 chunk would be more valuable every 10 months into that home than it's going to be on anything else you do with your debt. Now, how many years are you into that mortgage?
1.
Oh, shoot. Wow. Okay, so let's just look here. So what'd you do? Borrow like $559,000?
We borrowed the whole amount, yeah.
All of it.
We weren't planning on buying a home. We were renting, and the landlord gave us 60 days to move out. So
I had another couple that did that the other day. They came to me, and I asked them questions like, okay, is this the home of your dreams? And no, we plan on leaving, 4 or 5 years anyway. I asked them questions like that. And by the time we were done, it was a no-brainer that they were moving. So they moved. They went into renting and are so happy right now because they didn't do the mortgage because they just weren't sure, and it's like after we talked about it for a minute, they were like, well, no, we really don't want to live here. And so they were in California actually, and they found a house right down from them. It was the same rent that they had been paying for that house. And so I think they found peace in knowing that they weren't pressured and making that huge of a decision, because he had only given them like 6 months to decide, and they were kind of frantic and decided just to move. And I was talking to them again because they're package clients, and I was talking to them again I think it was Saturday I talked to them, and you could just hear the peace in their voice where they had not gone into that buy, and I was so
Yeah.
happy for
We
them.
looked at renting instead of buying, but the mortgage or the rental
For the size we needed,
for
Right.
the size we needed was the same as the mortgage.
almost $4,000 a month where we live.
Golly, that's
And it
great.
wasn't even
It was small,
technically big enough. They were just 3 bedrooms
and we would have had to have storage off site and
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Now
it
her
was-
father unfortunately passed since.
He was living with us at the time as well, so we
Okay.
needed space for him. And
but he was supplementing, his income was helping.
Right. So if you were to do the $10,000 chunk every 10 months, which would be excellent, you're talking about skipping 22 months and $77,000 in interest saved.
Mhm.
That's just one $10,000 chunk.
Well, that's just one $10,000 chunk.
Yeah, that's just one. That's how much interest you're paying right now. You're throwing away, literally throwing away $3,500 a month right now. Just throwing it. So the $10,000 chunk one time today is going to make that much difference in this mortgage,
Straight to principal.
because you're going to pay $870,385 total in interest only on a $565,000 home. So if you could do that every 10 months,
Well, we're saving $77K every time we do 10.
yes,
That's what my math
Yes.
my math brain's telling me.
yes,
your math brain is telling you that for the first, it's going to reduce as you go along, of course. So when you make the first $10,000 chunk, it's going to bring that down to $548,000 plus there on your balance. So then your interest is coming down in chunks. Okay. So then the next time that you do a $10,000 chunk, you may only be doing $3,300 that you're throwing away in interest every month. And
Oh
let's
yeah,
say,
reduce it. Okay.
and if that saves you 20 months, then you've got $66,000 that you've saved. But
Okay.
regardless, you're going to save, if you keep doing those $10,000 chunks every 10 months, you're going to be saving yourself probably, because if it's a total of $870,000 in interest that you're going to pay overall, I would say you will save in the first 5 years, you would save at least $600,000 or more of that interest and not pay that.
Yeah, money well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially where you're at with that high interest rate. Yes. Now
Okay.
remember, with making the chunks on top of using the system, you're going to win better than that. Because remember, the system tells you where to put that payment to avoid the interest. So if you're doing just your monthly payments on the interest, or where it's telling you to anyway, then you're throwing a $10,000 chunk into that principal. I mean, there's no way that you all can. I would say you're looking at more of a, if you do that correctly, a 10 or 11 year payoff instead of a, this huge 15 years. Why it's 15 is because of that interest on the home. If you're chunking that and knocking that down, you can see how much faster you're going to be paying that off.
Yeah, that's right. It'll reshift the numbers, the calculations instantly.
It'll make a real difference in what you're doing.